A controversial report of a possible nuclear strike that the US has planned against Libya. Well, for more on this, let's talk to Michel Chossudovsky. He's from the Centre for Research on Globalization. Thanks very much indeed for joining us here. Good to talk to you again on RT. Can you just fill us in briefly on the background of this report? What do you actually understand from what you've learned?
Well, I should give you a little bit of history. Back in 1997, upon the development of the B-61-11 tactical nuclear weapon, which is a bomb which approximately has a yield of two-thirds of a Hiroshima bomb, it was suggested by the Pentagon that this weapon should be used against Libya. And in fact, it was quite explicit, because they said that this weapon would be available, quote, for possible use against a suspected underground chemical factory being built by Libya in Tarhunah, which is a city 60 kilometers from Tripoli. And then the actual man behind this diabolical project, whose name is Harold Palmer Smith Jr., he was Assistant Secretary of Defense during the Clinton administration, specializing in nuclear weapons, and he said in a press conference, and with the presence of Defense Secretary William Perry at the time, he said very explicitly that the Air Force could use the B-61-11 nuclear weapon against Libya's alleged underground weapons plant, etc. We could take it out of commission, and we can't do that with conventional weapons. And so that option was on the table back in 1997. They subsequently said, no, we're not going to do it. But if you look at U.S. military doctrine, particularly the Nuclear Posture Review formulated in 2001, it was very clear that these targets were still on the agenda, because in the Nuclear Posture Review, they actually listed the countries which would be a target for attacks using the so-called tactical nuclear weapons, and that included countries such as Iraq, Iran, Syria, but Libya was also included.
You're talking about 1997, then 2001. Surely there's no suggestion now of any nuclear weapons being used against Libya, is there?
Let me say two things. When the use of nuclear weapons is always determined by nuclear doctrine, and the nuclear doctrine is the Nuclear Posture Review of 2001, as far as these preemptive nuclear weapons are concerned, preemptive nuclear attack, attacking a country using nuclear weapons, for defensive purposes. But I should mention, and it's a rather disturbing development, that just a couple of days ago, the B-61-11 was actually tested in Nevada. It was tested using the B-2 Spirit stealth aircraft, which is an aircraft that actually is being used under the Libya operation. It's these very sophisticated stealth heavy bomber, and that bomber is actually equipped to deliver tactical nuclear warheads. So this is a major consideration. I should mention that those tests took place, and the press release regarding these tests came out actually just yesterday.
Okay, just finally, I know complete speculation, this is all based on what you've been learning and reading, but just finally, surely none of this would happen now, bearing in mind that Obama wants a nuclear-free world. What are we seeing at the moment? The nuclear arms reduction treaty between Russia and the US. This is surely impossible, people will be crying. This is nonsense.
I've been looking into nuclear weapons for quite a number of years, and the so-called preemptive nuclear weapons. The so-called tactical nuclear weapons. Now, these tactical nuclear weapons, according to the U.S. military, backed by so-called scientific judgment, are safe for the surrounding civilian population, They are, in fact, heralded as a new generation of nuclear weapons, and they have been reclassified for use in the conventional war theater. Now, I'm not suggesting there's no evidence that that these weapons are being slated for use in Libya, but I'm a little bit disturbed by the fact that just this week we have a press release indicating that the B-2 Spirit aircraft was used in the testing of a proxy of the B-6111. These are very sophisticated tests. They take place in Nevada and so on. Now, the timing of these tests seem to be very, very, quite unusual.
Okay, Michel, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for that. Many people will be very interested to hear what you have to say there. We could talk a lot longer on this, but sadly we're out of time. Michel Chossudovsky from the Centre for Research and Globalization joining us there in Montreal. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.